We got this, and I got you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Care Conversations with Griswold Home Care for Chevy Chase. I'm Erin Pickrell, Director, and each month we sit down with a trusted professional in the care and wellness community to share real insights, practical guidance, and local resources that help families navigate aging in place with confidence. Griswold has been supporting families in our community for more than 5 years. Whether it's short-term recovery care, support for veterans, or 24/7 in-home assistance, our mission is always the same: to make aging in place safe, meaningful, and supported. Today's conversation focuses on an important part of that journey, helping families navigate senior living options and making informed decisions with confidence. I'm joined by Heidi from Settling Seniors, who works closely with families to guide them through care planning and senior living transitions. Thanks so much for being with us today. I'm really happy that you're able to come. And so we'll get right into the questions. So you have a lot of varied experience, in Montgomery County and elsewhere, I think too. And how does that experience in home health, hospice, and senior living influence how you support your families today?
I feel like seeing the whole journey of senior living and hospice and home health has helped me understand the end. I can kind of see the end line where families are still in the beginning trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned from hospice how important it is to have a plan in place so you're not trying to make a lot of decisions while there's a lot of emotions going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so I guess your title, or you describe yourself as a senior advocate, and what does that truly mean to you?
So my goal is to be the senior's voice. I don't want their voice to be lost in all the family opinions or all of the medical jargon. I want to make sure that they get to use their voice about what their preferences are and what the plan they'd like for themselves. Mm-hmm. So I'm really advocating for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you find that families often maybe overlook their loved ones' preferences just depending on the situation?
I do. I often see that families kind of look at it at what they would want themselves rather than maybe what the person that's looking really is wanting to find. Maybe it's the family member wants activities or a pool or some, of the amenities that the person looking doesn't really have interest in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess tell me a little bit like what you do. How does someone start with you? And what does that process look like?
So when they reach out to me, I do a discovery consultation. It's complimentary, and I ask a lot of questions just to try to figure out what their goals are, where they're at. And I work through the entire process. If the goal is to move out of their home and into a community, I connect them with resources like move managers, and I also connect them with resources like real estate. If they want to stay in their home for a while, then I connect them with resources like home care. And so I just walk them through the whole process, and I put a binder together to help them have everything in one place for when they are ready to make a move.
Yeah. And so in those conversations, what are some common mistakes that families make when choosing care options? And how can you avoid them?
Yeah, there's two big common mistakes. One is people wait too long. They wait until there's an emergency and there's a fall or something, has happened in the home. Or another mistake people make is they just don't have enough education on all the different resources that there are and all the options there are. So sometimes they'll choose the wrong community. I had a client that I moved that had moved 4 times in 1 year because she had met great salespeople at communities, but they weren't necessarily, they don't dig in like an advocate to find out everything. And unfortunately, she had to move again and again and again until they found an advocate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is, that's a lot of investment to move and then to move 4 times. You do ideally want to make a good decision, and, a senior advocate can really help make that good decision.
It's not only a financial investment, it's an emotional investment as well. So it's really, it takes a big toll.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I think moving to a community is absolutely like a big decision. And so when you have to make that several times, that is,
Right.
But good that she found the right place for her eventually. I think that I'm I'm sure sometimes does happen, and you can always make a change if you do make the wrong decision. When do you think it makes sense to bring in home care versus moving to a senior living community?
Home care is perfect for temporary needs, like after a surgery, or maybe you just got discharged from the hospital. Anytime you just need some extra support. Or maybe there's caregivers in the home doing the care and they need a little bit of a break, whether they've got a wedding to go to, graduation plans, maybe they have a surgery coming up, or they're just not feeling well and they need some rest. I also think home care can eventually become 24/7, and maybe it just doesn't make financial sense to the family anymore at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, in home care, our schedules vary. It could be a few weeks or a few months to, permanent. We do live-in care, which is a great option, but you're right, when it comes to 24/7 hourly and maybe like 2-person assists, and, you might need to consider a change with that.
One other thing I've noticed is if maybe your home's not accessible to you, maybe there's stairs in the home, or you can't get in and out of the bathtub, a family may decide that it makes more sense to move than do all the construction to the house to do the repairs.
Absolutely. And what sets settling seniors apart from other placement or consulting services?
I love this question. So what sets me apart is this is my passion. I feel like this is something I was called to do. I have loved seniors since I was a young child and started with taking care of my own grandfather, and it's just me. So the senior works with me. I work with them through the entire process. They're not going to be working with somebody else in my company.
Yeah.
It's my whole passion, mission. I call it my baby. It's just something that I'm very passionate about, and I love it so much. And I just feel like I do a little bit maybe more than other community or companies do, as far as walking them through the entire process and staying with them for about 30 days just to make sure they're settled.
Yeah, wow, great. I think that transition, because our clients do move sometimes, and having that caregiver stay through the transition is really helpful, even again, just for a week or two, making sure that they're settled in. I'm sure, those first few weeks and months are stressful, and so having someone to check in with is really, really great. And I guess, how can families get started with you, and settling seniors if they need guidance today?
They can go on my website, settlingSeniors.com, and they can schedule a complimentary visit right there on the website, or they're welcome to give me a call. Should I give them my phone number?
Yeah, you can.
It's 470-349-0637, and you're welcome to give me a call. If you don't get me, just leave me a voice message and I'll call you back.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. And that information will be available, on the bottom of the screen here too. And so I really appreciate anything like you thought that I was going to ask you, or you want to share that we didn't get to.
I appreciate this opportunity, and I will just say I feel like what I do and what home health does is kind of goes hand in hand, because a lot of times if you think you need senior living but you're not quite ready, I think home health is a great time to bring some extra support in there. And if you're looking for a community, get home health in now to have that support while you're looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing your insight and the work that you do to support families during such important transitions. Navigating care decisions can feel overwhelming, but having the right guidance and support can make all the difference for families and their loved ones. We already gave the contact information a little bit, but if you're interested in learning more or connecting with Heidi at Settling Seniors team, you can go on the website or call her at the phone number. And as always, Griswold Home Care for Chevy Chase, we're available 24/7 at 301-949-3824 if you have any questions or need resources. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Care Conversations.